It's not Dump Month.
Thank God. Because it's Love Month now, baby.
Ooh. And we're starting off Love Month with Love Hurts.
Stop. Let's begin with a little trivia question. Place your bets on how high the budget was for this movie. Comment down below and we'll reveal the answer at the end.
Great, thanks for that, I guess. As I was saying, we're starting off with Love Hurts. And before we get into a little bit more about the movie, I just want to kind of frame where your mind should be going into this film. We were in the mindset of 2025 action flick a la John Wick, and for a good portion of the movie, we were left in this void of like, where does this fit in?
Stop again.
Ugh.
It was a similar feeling to how I felt watching Nosferatu. Ooh, sorry, man. But the difference is that I eventually understood the story in this movie. I still don't understand the story in Nosferatu. Unstop now.
And then it finally clicked. This is not that kind of movie. This is very much an homage to early kung fu movies. Think Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee, and then it'll all make sense to you. And there are some in real life moments that happen in this movie too. Sean Astin and Ke Huy Quan are both in this movie, and they share a very heartfelt moment that is more about their relationship in real life than in the movie, but it was very sweet.
This whole movie is about relationships, and despite all the action you're gonna see, it really is just a Valentine's movie. It's a love story. But when you take away all of the action, you'll start to notice things like deep love poems and cheesy one-liners and unlikely relationships, all of which are very subtle but felt, which makes sense because this is first and foremost an action movie. I want to lead off with the special effects in this movie, particularly talking about the wounds you see in this movie from gunshots, from being stabbed. It all felt and looked really realistic. The blood was spot on, at times dripping too. I was like, this is really cool. That's exactly how I would imagine that wound would look like, and they were super consistent throughout the whole movie. You saw a wound happen in the beginning of the movie. You saw that slowly, but not really, kind of heal throughout the rest of the movie very naturally. Really well done.
Their use of props in the fight scene was also just a masterclass. During the choreography and in the set itself, they use everything that's around them. From tables to chairs to books to things on the wall. Like, everything has pretty much a purpose throughout the entire movie. And you don't see that very often. It was very well thought out and very satisfying to watch.
A big reason why these fight scenes just felt so impactful came down to the cinematography and the audio. There were cool, unique moments where you saw the camera inside of the microwave and inside the refrigerator, and that sounds weird at first, but it'll make sense when you see it. And they had a couple of times where they did this first-person perspective shift during the fight, which made me feel like I was actually in that fight. Like I was ducking and weaving myself in that theater. And there's clearly a lot of attention to detail with the choreography of the fight and exactly how the cameras needed to move and exactly what little bumps they needed to do or spin arounds that they needed to do. And the audio, when you do a little camera bump, it's not just for just some impact, it's for the audio too. If you have that all pieced together, you feel that as an audience member. And every single fight, every single hit, punch, gunshot, everything, I felt that. I felt like I was in all of these fights. Now let's go.
Stop. Works both ways, motherfucker. Time for the payoff. The answer to the question.
Stop! There was an upside down camera angle.
Oh, you bitch.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
I forgot about it.
I was like, he's not gonna see this coming, but I got Blue Eyes White Dragon.
All right, count it up.
We are now at a total of, for the year of 2025. Let it ride, baby. Continue. Unstop.
The answer to the previous question was $18 million. was the budget for this movie, which is remarkably low
$18
for the quality that
million.
this movie was. Yeah.
Even like indie films often get more money than that.
Yeah.
It's shockingly low.
Yeah. And clearly they spent the money well too. It's not noticeable.
No, not noticeable at all. It'll make the money back this weekend, guaranteed. So now with that, let us go into our recommendations. What do you say?
I do recommend that you see this movie in theaters. It's a really fun time, fun movie. Just make sure you have that mindset that it's more Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, old school style of action movie than a 2025 action movie.
I completely agree. I also recommend you go see this in theaters. I especially recommend you go see this in Dolby Atmos if you can.
And now for the score. What's your score?
I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. I think it's a really well done movie. I did not go into it expecting to give this such a high score, but in general, it's a movie that has several character story arcs and even prop story arcs that just come full circle, and it's super satisfying. What's your score?
I give it an 8 out of 10. I was pretty surprised myself. My mind was thinking about 6 or so, like typical action movie, but I really enjoyed myself. And again, once I corrected myself into what this was trying to do, everything made so much more sense. It seemed like everybody involved had a lot of fun. And shout out to Marshawn Lynch, because his character was hilarious, very much his style, and I kind of want to see more of that.
Big shout out to Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, he's Seattle hero. Marshawn, why didn't you give him the ball, Lynch? Make sure to check out the rest of our channel. Maybe we reviewed your favorite movie of 2025. I know it's February, but hey.
And remember, we're just two regular dudes doing regular reviews.
I kept thinking in my head, I had that tally, upside down camera angle in my back pocket.
I totally forgot.
And when we were doing
You
the
got
stop
that
things,
so
and I was like, oh, I'm stopping you. I was like, I wonder if he's going to have a moment where he wants to stop me. I was literally thinking that, and I was like, I'll save it. If anything, I'll just mention it at the end. But
you played it right. You got me. You got me.